In this video, we're going to show you how to calibrate your ORP probe. Now, depending on what kind of system and what kind of probe you have, it may look a little bit different. So in this particular model, this is this blue probe. There's also a gray one that looks pretty similar to it. If you have either this blue or this gray probe, then what I'm going to show you here will work for you. If you have the smaller yellow ORP probe, that's going to be a part of one of our older systems. The calibration method on that is going to be similar, but not exactly the same. And so I would recommend that you just give us a call on that probe. All right, so when you're ready to calibrate your ORP probe, the first thing you're going to do is just isolate the probe by turning your valves, and that's just so we don't lose a whole bunch of water out of this. I'm not going to actually take this one out, just so we don't dump a bunch of water out, but you can see how that works. You'll then make sure that your system is powered on, but not running. So the reason is, obviously, we can't have the system running because we have everything deadheaded, but we're going to need to be able to read what's going on the screen. So again, not running, but powered on. So after all this is done, you'll remove this, you just unscrew it, you'll take it out, and you'll go to your settings, the first settings page from the main screen. So you'll see on here, you have a couple different things that you're going to pay attention to. You have your value that's showing you what your current ORP level is. And in this box right here, we have this positive 470. This is the value that we're going to use to calibrate to. That should always be 470. You shouldn't have to mess with that. It should be right there. All these directions, by the way, are also right here on the screen. After you've removed the probe, you're going to place the tip in the calibration solution that we provide for you. If you need some extra, you can let us know. We'll send it to you. The most important thing here is that you allow that value to stabilize. So the place where it shows you what the probe is currently reading, that's going to fluctuate for a little bit when you put the tip in that calibration solution. This may take 2, 3, 4 minutes, but you need to make sure that that reading stabilizes. And after it does, and only then, will you come up here and push that calibrate button. Now, to assume that our probe is properly calibrated, there's one additional step that we need to take. When you push the calibrate button, you will see the actual value come up to 470 that will match the value here that we're calibrating to. But that in and of itself does not necessarily mean that the probe is entirely, calibrated correctly. Again, there's one additional step. Occasionally, the salt bridge on the tip of the probe is going to need to be rebuilt. Now, we've made a separate video about that, so you'll want to go over there if you think that you need to do this, and all of those instructions will be there. But we recommend that you replace that salt bridge about once a year. That's probably a little more frequently than you're going to need to, but if you'll do that once a year, it'll make sure that your calibration is actually right when you go up here and do that. And again, it's a fairly inexpensive thing to do, and it only takes a few minutes, and that's all you have to do. The probe's calibrated, you can reinstall, open up your valves, and start the system again. We recommend that you calibrate your probe about once a quarter. That's probably a little more frequently than most people do, but it's a good general recommendation. And again, it just takes about 5 minutes. So we would recommend that you do that about once a quarter. If you do that, everything will be fine with your calibration.